Now welcome along to another week of showing you around the land here. There's a lot going on this week. I obviously have my trusty sidekick Tina just behind me. I wanted to update you on a lot of comings and goings with dogs. Some dogs have left, some new sick dogs have arrived. We've built some stuff here on the land. Everything is going in the right directions in terms of helping dogs. Obviously a few little speed bumps along the way, a couple of sad incidents this week, but mainly we're making progress as always, keeping smiling. I just wanted to say if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be brilliant. I've never done that before. I always see people saying subscribe to the channel, but it does help. It spreads the word about more dogs and how we can help even more dogs at scale. So I thought I'd show you around the land and give you a little tour of what's happening this week. Now obviously one of the main topics of discussion every week is Tina's health, and unbelievably this week she's had a really fantastic week. She had gone down about 500 grams, but she's back to 20 kilos, which is kind of what we call her fighting weight. That's where she's happy, and you can see just how golden her skin is. Like if you just looked at her from the outside, you wouldn't think there's anything wrong with her. So Tina's doing fantastic. She's still following us around absolutely everywhere. She's gone off to try and find some extra lunch from the builders, but unfortunately she's not allowed to eat, because the less she eats the better it is for her kidneys. We even have to get her fluids injected so her kidneys are working even less. But the news on Tina is, I would say, pretty good. One vet whose opinion I really trust a lot has said that Tina might even be able to make it up to 6 months. So I'm even holding out for longer than that. I know I'm maybe a little bit optimistic, but she just looks absolutely fantastic and gets better looking by the day. I'm not even joking. I think she's a miracle dog, and no matter what her prognosis is, she just makes me feel happy, and she makes everybody feel happy, to be honest. Look at that for a big happy face, rolling in the grass. Oh, Tina. You love it, don't you? Now, if you're a regular watcher, you'll probably recognize these little shelters that we had for the rain. Very, very primitive and basic, and they did do their job, little barrels. But now, finally today, we've upgraded and we have these lovely big shelters that the dogs are going up onto. You can see Lily up there. Chicken is going up onto the top level. These are really, really VIP shelters, I would say, for all the dogs. Absolutely loving it in there, they are. Now you can see two layers here. We've got Lily down on the lower deck. We've got Chicken up on the higher deck. And then even down below, we've got Lady with her sore leg. She can creep into one of the lower levels, but it just means that the dogs can have their own space. They can find a little nice quiet corner for themselves or lie up on the roof. Tina can go into one of her little nice chilled bedrooms. And it really is like a VIP hotel for the dogs, isn't it, Tina? Angelina! Now I have little Angelina here, who is an absolutely beautiful dog, but she has a lot of problems with it. The reason I'm holding her is because unfortunately she's a little bit confused. She really wants to go home. She's never lived anywhere apart from the streets in her life before, apart from a little shop where she did live. She's got heartworm. She had a big whack on her head, which we've managed to clean up quite a lot, to the point where it's nearly perfect. You're a good girl, aren't you? Aren't you a good girl? You're just confused. The beauty of coming in here is that she now has time to relax. She's been sleeping for about 18 hours a day. She has been panicking quite a lot, haven't you, darling? She gets very nervous just because she's never been anywhere that's her own. Some dogs just prefer the streets because that's all she's known her whole life. For her, it's going to be a case of getting her as much better as we can, which we're already doing. Most importantly, she's getting sleep. She's getting really good quality food, lots of water, and some peace and quiet. So really coming in here for Angelina is like a spa retreat or a nice hotel when she's down and sick. There's only so much you can do for a dog sometimes. There's a really fine balance between keeping a dog somewhere where they're really unhappy, which she is here. She's totally confused and bamboozled by the situation, and then the other option is to fix them right up and make them as good as possible and put them back somewhere safe. So we have somewhere safe where I can see her every day, and that's going to be the best case for Angelina. Really tough decisions to make, but you get to know dogs and what makes them tick, and Angelina is going to be in a much better place very soon. She's got another, I think we'll keep her here for another week so she can really get a clean bill of health and feel totally rejuvenated. She's a very, very good girl. Now there's been an awful lot of change with the dogs here. To the point that we have a really interesting quirk at the moment is Derek is the only boy who is here at the land. He's got his little corner den here, but there's actually 10 other girls. So everybody from Tina to Lily to Lady, McMuffin, Brittany, Sue, Shrimpy. I can't even remember all their names, but there's 10 girls and Derek. He is staying out of trouble in here. He doesn't want to get involved in any of the arguments amongst the girls. He likes his quiet life in here, but I think he secretly enjoys being the center of attention as well. He's the old gentleman who gets to hang out with all the quiet girls. In terms of the dogs who left, Rodney, Whacker and Moritz got bumped off their flights twice actually, so they got delayed by 10 days. They're in Bangkok and they're leaving Thursday morning, so tomorrow. So on Thursday they will be in France and then they're going over to England. So their places have already all been taken by sick girls who have various different injuries. We have Sue who has a very bad ear injury, Shrimpy who also has a very bad ear injury, Angelina who's recovering, and a lot of new dogs who were ready to jump into those spaces. So yeah, it was sad to see all the dogs go. Me and Derek are the only boys left here at the moment, so we're holding down the fort, and Tina is obviously still starved for attention even though she's been in the video all the way through. Now these are some of our new girls that we have. As I was saying, so many girls. We have Sue who's got the bad ear, little Shrimpy, she's recovering very quickly, aren't you, little Shrimpy? They all like their own little spot. Sue has taken over one of these little shelters. Lady is looking through because she'd like to come in here as well. She wants to be everywhere. Wherever the action is, Lady wants to be involved. But this isn't your area. We do have to split the dogs up ever so slightly because they all have their own little spots. Isn't that right, Shrimpy? You're a little angel though. You wouldn't fight with anybody. Little Shrimpy loves to sleep in the concrete barrels which we've made. They're nice and cool in there, aren't they? That's our little home. She can choose any of the spots, but the dogs absolutely love the concrete. We're still in the process of getting those set up, but they're very nice for them. Now, as many of you who follow me on Instagram and Twitter will know, little Bambi passed away this week. She's one of the street dogs that I've been feeding since day one, and it's just a reminder. I don't like sharing sad news because the whole point of this channel is to try and be uplifting and solve problems and help the dogs, but the reality is, you know, sad stuff does happen. It was really tough for me because I just got to the end of a month and we'd sterilized a lot of dogs. I'd written a really nice newsletter to sort of say, oh, these are the wins, we're making progress. I was just on my way to get a pizza and a Coke and just sort of take a moment to kind of enjoy myself and like pat myself on the back, and then bang, Valeria sent me the WhatsApp of a picture of Bambi dead. She'd been hit by a car. It knocked the stuffing out of me. Actually, I had the pizza and the Coke and I sort of pushed on through because I was quite busy. But then that was Saturday. Then Sunday night, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I had to go back to bed 2 or 3 times on Monday for naps, if you want to call them that. I was just, battery was drained, absolutely. Anytime a dog passes away, it really hits hard. I mean, I fed Bambi every day for 14 months. We saved her as a puppy. She was wonderfully happy dog. So it's sad. It's definitely sad. And you can't just brush those things off. As anybody who's lost a pet knows, it's really, really tough. And she's not a pet. There's 80 of those dogs and there's hundreds that we look after on the streets, but still hurts. Still floored by it at the moment today. I'm not gonna lie, you can probably see it in my eyes. It's draining when a dog dies, but you can see by walking around the land here, and I haven't even covered the street dogs today, there's still plenty to do, and things like that drive me on. If you get a bad result, I'll do a lot of work this week in Bambi's name to try and help more dogs, because that's the only way of approaching it. You can't get sad and miserable or angry. You just have to tackle the problem and move on to help more Bambis. So yes, sad, but also as determined as ever. So that's it. I hope that gives you a little overview of what happens here and week to week. I mean, there's a lot of ups and downs. There's Tina following me everywhere. There's new dogs arriving who we're able to treat. We've increased capacity so as we can get more dogs in. Had a really obviously sad week with Bambi passing away, one of the street dogs. That does take a massive hit mentally on me personally. I think it does everybody, a pet dying, but when it happens on a regular basis, it can be pretty tough. But the good news is there's always stuff to do. There's always more dogs that are looking for those places in the little sweets, so you got to stay busy. And at the end of the day, I think this is one of the happiest places on earth, and getting to spend time with the likes of Tina and all the other dogs and building a little community for them to feel safe and loved, and put some back on the street, help some get more sterilized, keep them fed, get them medicines. You can't save all the dogs, as little Bambi shows, but you can definitely make a difference, and I do feel like this week a difference is being made, even though there are many battles to keep on fighting. So thanks for watching. Again, subscribe down below would be massively helpful. because the more people I can tell about street dogs, the better. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week.